released two really good videos about God and my beliefs on God and my beliefs on Satan and the devil and the serpent, basically evil spirits and holy spirits. What I wanted to talk about is separating evil to regain your power. Remaining logical, remaining the most logical, is going to give you the most power. And what it says in Spanish, the word sin means to miss the mark. Now, it doesn't necessarily always mean that you're sinning upon others. It also is like, oh, that's a sin, a light sentencing upon others, right? It's not as grotesque as like, don't sin on me. If you do that, I'm going to claim that you're a sinner. Those kind of sentences are a lot more damning than the one where if you miss a little bit, then you technically lose power. So what I'm trying to say is that you want to be the most logical being, because then you're going to be the most true being. And there's technically infinite truth in this world. Even if you're 100% true, you can be 100% true twice and 3 times. That additional test proved a new way why it is true. It's called canon. So the most true being is assumed to be God, and the most powerful being is assumed to be God. And just because we're made in his image does not mean that we put out the work that he did in order to have the power that he has. So you want to be the most true that you can be. People are going to try and trick you in this world. People already know that logic defeats less logic or on logic. It's a literal hackology in like, we invent things and we make them fight each other. And the more logical thing usually beats the other logical thing, unless it's a counter, unless they're both logical things, right? But then here comes the next one, is just because something beats another thing and it's the underdog, it doesn't mean that it's better. It just means that it's like its counter. In like Robot Wars, there are counters to things. And in real life, there's counters to things. And don't be disguised by the counters of things when you're generally an awesome person and you win all the time. Like, here's a good one, is if you're talking with somebody that's, evil, they're going to try and bring you down. And they're not going to try and bring you down in a linear way like you're used to, like your friend, is overly competitive and he's trying to bring you down in a normal way. They're going to try and, like, tell you that you're doing the wrong thing when you're doing the right thing. Right? They're not going to just call you names, and they're not going to go, oh, you should have done this. They're not going to tell you what you should have done. They're going to instead suggest things that you shouldn't do. And they're going to try and deceive you. They're going to try and trick you. Maintaining logic is a super important thing in this universe. And what I wanted to talk about in this video is separating evil spirits. What about putting evil spirits together in one space? Now, this is a theory that runs in my family, and in my family, we operate a little bit different because a lot of us are in the military, and a lot of us are military-minded beings. I'm one of those beings. I'm a very logical, military-minded being, even though I'm not from the military. But what I want to talk about is people can be put together into, groups of beings. Similar groups of beings should be next to similar groups of beings, which will basically keep them at bay, and it'll keep them busy. They'll be fighting themselves if they're evil, or they'll be embracing in their own ways if they're holy, right? And you don't want to really mix those powers together, because then it's just a uncomfortable mind-washing experiment for both of them. Oh, you should be holy. Oh, I hate when they say that. I hate when they tell me to be holy. Oh, I hate when they tell me that they hate that I should be holy. The two people would be arguing back and forth, and they both have a bad time. But instead, if you separate that and bring like minds together, you basically create Utopia. It's a utopian blueprint. If we take evil, put them next to evil, and we take medium, we put them next to medium, and we take holy, and we put them next to holy, and then, you keep doing that endlessly over and over and over, and eventually one day you get it right. Different shades of evil, different shades of gray, different shades of light, that kind of stuff. And that's the melting pot. The melting pot theory of America is kind of like that. It's like we have our different ingredients scattered all around, right? So you can go looking and see what you like and find what you like and get to the right place. But at the end of the day, I really just wanted to talk to you guys about keeping evil forces together. Bringing them together, not to be a powerful entity, but in order to keep themselves busy. The next thing I got to talk about is confirmed kills. Now, Utopia does not exist without confirmed kills. Confirmed kill would be something similar to this being no longer does the damages that they do. They are now out of the equilibrium. They are not making changes anymore. They are not doing anything that we don't like anymore. Confirmed kills create Utopia. Confirmed kills and confirmed jailings create Utopia. Now here's the problem is micro-infrastructure and telemetry, telepathy, that kind of stuff. Satellite power, satellite use, bio-augmented reality, bio-veils, biotechnology, all that kind of stuff is actually coming out right now. And it's not just coming out, it's like a huge deal. And arguably it always was already out. It was just a matter of like, was it in this equilibrium working? And we can combat that, and we can delay it, and we can, police it and micromanage it. But at the same time, it's going to always be a constant threat forever. Jails aren't good enough anymore. People that are in jails can get to you from inside the jail and get you killed and get you hurt and do bad things to your life. Not just astrophysically, but actualized in real life. They could, slash your tires, have their gang member slash your tires, and do all kinds of evils from inside the jail. So these beings that are infinitely committed to evil, that's what blasphemy against the Holy Spirit means. You're the Holy Spirit. Or you're not. But if you aren't or are not. And blasphemy against the Holy Spirit is trying to target you endlessly and do evils endlessly. And that's why we need confirmed kills. Because that evil person no longer does evil. And now we're able to create Utopia. We're able to create peace and love. Forced peace and love. This stuff matters, people. We got to get a grip on reality. Like these blueprints and these ideas of immortality for free for all, even evil beings forever, it's not going to last forever. You can't create Utopia for all beings forever that deserve it and want it when certain beings want to crash that desire. They want to crash that hopes. They want to break it. They want to penetrate it. Their infinite desire to do that. Now, does that mean some beings have to suffer in order for you to have a good time? I don't believe in that. I believe that's unrighteous. You don't achieve Utopia unrighteously. If you're achieving Utopia unrighteously, it's not really Utopia. That's kind of like dystopia in a nutshell. That's kind of exactly what it means. That's a key indicator that we messed up and that the blueprint's not right. And the universe, as far as I believe, operates in infinite microvectors and infinite microparticle. So every particle can be broken up more, and every particle that moves from A to B has infinite spaces that it moves in between. And every particle is made up of infinite things that are to be figured out. More. Just because you think that it's made up a certain type of way doesn't mean that it is a certain type of way. Similar to if you leave a baseball out in the grass, what's it going to do? It's not going to be a baseball forever. Eventually it's going to rot. Eventually it's going to break down. Eventually it's going to become plant food. and then eventually it might become light one day, or burn up, or become something else. That's what matter. That's a proof of concept right there. That's proof right there of infinity particle. Right there. Just the natural decay of particles. We don't live in a utopian perfect universe. The universe itself is naturally imperfect. And that's kind of what separates evil spirits from holy spirits, is that holy spirits agree that the universe is naturally imperfect. A lot of unholy spirits think that the universe is perfect. If the universe was perfect, we would have so many signs that it would be perfect. We have every sign to believe that it isn't. That we have to constantly work and constantly make more. We have only signs that the universe is imperfect, meaning imperfect infinity particle, which is perfect for immortality, but it isn't perfect for a lot of utopian desires. It's actually the most imperfect thing that you could build a universe on top of, theoretically. Infinity particle means that in order to maintain utopia, you have to work infinitely, always. And you're still probably going to lose at times. So it's not utopia. Instead, it's haven. Haven means that you are trying to create a heaven, but it's always being hacked. Now, the whole thing here is, if somebody has infinite certainty that their haven isn't hacked, and it always works the way that they made it, and it's not just some natural universe cop-out, like, oh, the universe works exactly the way the universe does. Haha, I created a heaven. No, it's like you're forcefully making multiple, strides of change, of protection for many, many, many beings all at once, and they all get along and they all love it and they all have a positive experience at all times. That's what heaven is. That's what haven is even too, until haven's cracked. Haven cracking is basically what Satan does. Satan knows everything is a haven, so Satan tries to destroy heaven. Thank you guys for watching. Have a beautiful day. OMG Bomber out. Peace.